9440. 4405. 944405. 05.
Hello and welcome. I'm Jon Garlick and I'm here with Captain Joey Stone, and this is Calhoun County's Most Wanted. Joey!
How you doing, John?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good.
You and your deputies were good. Let's take a quick look at the count. Look at that. What did you get?
So we've added one more. Our total right now is 5199.
We're almost to 5,200.
Getting there.
You know, it takes a lot of help from the community to make this happen, right?
It does. The community's involvement in trying to help people. You know, we put people on this Most Wanted every week, and the community help us find those people that we place on the Most Wanted. And you know, there's different ways that you can do that. You know, you can call in, call the sheriff's office if you see somebody that's on our lineup. Or we're also working with the company out of Birmingham. It's Central Alabama Crime Stoppers.
Okay.
We're working with them to help us pay some folks if they have information. You know, you might could get a little bit of reward. They do that, and all that goes through them. So they do the rewards for people coming to Crime Stoppers. You can call them. They have a phone number.
Mm-hmm. We use that phone number throughout the show. Yeah.
That's the number that we're using for people to call in. And they also have an app.
Oh.
Yeah, it's called P3 Tips. So you can download that app, P3 Tips, and you can do. A lot of people like to do things on their phones these days. Yeah. You know, so they have an app where that's available to them as well. So you can call out Central Alabama Crime Stoppers, or you can use the app. And if you see anybody in our lineup, you know, get that information. They forward that information to us, and we send somebody out to get them. Yeah. We had one the other day. I think it could 7 minutes. We had the guy in jail. We had a tip the other day. We had him in jail for 7 minutes. So. And
all that could be a reward in your pocket. So we're going to be right back. We're going to have the first half of the lineup so that you can look for those things to call in on that tip. And then we have a really important guest for you here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. Welcome to this week's edition of Calhoun County's Most Wanted. Our lineup this week brought to you by Abe's Ace Bail Bonds. Abe's Ace Bail Bonds, located in Heflin and Cleburne County, 256-463-1824, and in Calhoun County, 256-831-0074. First up in our lineup this week is Kiana Thomas. Miss Thomas, last known to be living in the Jacksonville area. She's wanted for possession of a controlled substance ×7. And meet Frank Dickerson. Mr. Dickerson, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted for burglary third. And this is Jimmy Galloway. Mr. Galloway, last known to be living in Wellington. He's wanted for obstruction of justice by using a false ID. Take a look at Ellen Allen. Miss Allen, last known to be living in Anniston. She's wanted for arson second. And this is Devontae Davis. Mr. Davis, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted for possession of a controlled substance. And that's it for the first half of the lineup. Stay tuned for the second half later in the show. Welcome back. We hope you saw somebody in that half of the lineup. If you did, you know where they are. Call Crime Stoppers, use that fancy app, or call Captain Joey Stone. You call, they haul. We're here with LaTasha Aguirre.
That's correct.
I got it right. Of ASAP.
That is correct.
That's easier to pronounce.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Good morning. We're doing well. How are you?
Good.
So for our viewers who aren't still familiar with ASAP, why don't you tell us a little bit of background on ASAP?
ASAP is the Agency for Substance Abuse Prevention, located in Oxford, Alabama. We are the prevention agency for Calhoun, Talladega, and currently a few other counties.
Statewide, really. ASAP's got a statewide footprint, don't they?
We're trying to be statewide, international, anywhere we can be.
Wow. And you've got the Prevenger. That's Joey's favorite thing. He calls the Prevenger.
We do have the Prevenger. We have the Prevenger and more.
And more? What's the more?
I can't tell you. Secret.
Really? Well, that's not fun. What's the secret?
You know we have to do our big reveals. Just know the Prevenger has somebody accompanying her soon.
The Prevenger has a, what do you call that, Joey, when the superhero has a
sidekick?
A sidekick,
yeah.
Joey's got a sidekick.
Yeah, everybody needs a sidekick.
Fallon's your sidekick.
Yeah, that's right. Let him know that.
Let him know that. Well, so tell us what's going on at ASAP.
Well, you know, a few months ago, in February of this year, we introduced the Safe Care program to Calhoun County. And you know, that program is where we work with pregnant women or women with infants or children between 0 and 3 with substance misuse issues, making sure they're connected to recovery sources, trying to keep their families intact to prevent DHR and law enforcement involvement. So we have an event coming up this Saturday at the Oxford Civic Center.
So before we talk about the details in the event, how you're talking about women who, when they're pregnant, are misusing substances, right?
Correct.
Okay, and your program is to help bring awareness to that and help them prevent starting to do that?
Yeah. So not just bring awareness to it, but get them connected with the recovery resources that they need during their pregnancy, early in their pregnancy, so that they can have a healthy pregnancy as well as reduce that exposure to those unborn children. We want the babies to come into the world without being, you know, having those substances in their bodies and going through those withdrawal symptoms. And ultimately the goal is to keep those families together.
Right, because you know, babies can be born addicted, right?
Well, they use the term substance exposed, not necessarily addicted.
But that also can cause some damage.
It can, but 90% of them don't have like damage. They do experience withdrawal symptoms, but they're not necessarily damaged from the exposure.
Now the risk, of course, is DHR can get involved and break the families up. But Joey, that's a crime too, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's chemical endangerment of a child.
Yeah.
You know.
And so when people are getting charged with that, do you ever find a case where somebody's, you know, using drugs and they don't know they're pregnant and they get arrested and then now we discover that they're pregnant somehow?
That, you know, a lot of people, they find that you know, people who have drug problems, they, you know, they may not know they're pregnant at the time, and then after they may get arrested and they find out that they're pregnant or something along those lines, and they've been using. You know, we want to help those people get off that, and that's one thing that ASAP is good at.
So is that a misdemeanor or a felony?
I believe that's a felony.
That's a felony.
Yes.
So that could be prison time.
Yes.
For over a year, right?
Oh yeah, a year, at least a year and a day.
A year and a day minimum.
Minimum.
And that breaks up the family, and usually it's going to be the woman, right?
Right.
So mother's in prison. She may have other kids. So this is an important thing to kind of get a hold of before.
And also even after the child's in the home, you know, kids get into stuff, right? So if you've got those types of substances in your house, you know, kids can get into them, and you know, we want to prevent that as well, right? I mean, and so we get them off of, you know, drugs and get them out of the house and try to keep, you know, the children safe that way as well.
Okay. So when does ASAP get involved in that?
We get involved as early as we can. We're hoping that, you know, the doctors or anybody that's connected to these mothers, whether they're in like a Celebrate Recovery or if they have a friend or a family member, anybody can refer a woman to the program, but the goal is to get involved as early as possible because, like you said, there is the chemical endangerment law. Most women aren't educated about that. Most women don't seek the help because of those laws. They don't seek the treatment because they're scared that DHR is going to come and take their baby. So we're trying to make sure that not only the women are educated, but the community and the resources that work with them are educated as well.
So are you a resource for these women to connect with something that's going to protect them from all of that?
Yes.
So if like a woman who might be watching the show goes, you know, yeah, this is a problem for me, they can contact you at ASAP and you will guide them through that process and can help them so that they can not have to talk to Joey.
That's right.
And can get the help they need.
Definitely. We do try to get connected as early as possible because did you know that there are only 2 certified places in Alabama for treatment for women that are pregnant or have babies, and those 2 places are in Birmingham. So we try to get them connected as soon as possible so that we can get assessments done and get them referred to those placements. So hopefully they can go there, they can be healthy in their pregnancy, and then once they deliver, they can return to those placements with their baby and continue to parent and receive their recovery.
How are those placements in Birmingham paid for?
They're paid for through the state of Alabama. They're certified through the state of Alabama.
So the client, the woman who's pregnant, would not have to pay out of pocket for
They
that?
do not pay out of pocket. They don't have to. It's not like your traditional like rehab settings that we have here. You don't pay. You don't pay for your housing. You don't pay for your food. You don't pay for your transportation. You are essentially provided for. Their goal is to focus on your recovery.
And how long is their program?
You can be there from 6 months to a year, and then they work on transitional services to get you back out in the community successfully.
That's awesome. How many beds do they have?
They hold 48 beds, I think, in both placements. So it's women that are pregnant can go there, but also women who aren't pregnant, they take those as well.
They have a waiting list then?
Believe it or not, they do not right now.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what would it take do we have enough demand here in the county to?
We have more than enough demand.
Really?
Honestly, we do.
So what would it take to get one of those going? Joey can donate money and build one.
You know what? There's actually a training coming up, I think in a few weeks, that it's going to be for people who want to learn how to get certified, to become a certified placement.
Okay. Well, we're going to talk more about that. We're going to take a break and go to the second half of the lineup here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. And welcome to the second half of our lineup. First up this half, Amanda Brewer. Miss Brewer, last known to be living in Oxford. She's wanted for possession of a controlled substance with intent to sell. And meet Aretha Vaughn. Miss Vaughn, last known to be living in Anniston. She's wanted for possession of marijuana first. And this is Dana Sims. Mr. Sims, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted for possession of a controlled substance ×6. And meet Selena Wallace. Miss Wallace, last known to be living in Anniston. She's wanted for theft of property third. And this is Raheem Montgomery. Mr. Montgomery, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted for possession of a controlled substance ×2. And that's it for our lineup this week. If you have any information on these folks, please give Crime Stoppers a call. That number, 1-833-251-7867. Welcome back. We hope you saw somebody in that half of the lineup. You might know where they are. If you do, use your Crime Stoppers app or call Crime Stoppers or the Sheriff's Office. You call, they haul. We're here with LaTasha Aguirre of ASAP, and we're talking about the problem, the crisis really, of women who might be substance using, misusing, and who are pregnant or just gave birth, and how to help them through rehab, how to keep DHR from breaking up the family, and how to keep Joey from arresting them.
That's right.
Because it is a crime, it is a felony. So you were telling us before we went to break about the services in Birmingham, two programs that have maybe 94 beds available and no waiting list. Yay. And it's free. And I asked you if we had demand in this area, and you said more than enough. So what do you think is our demand here? How much of a problem is that here?
I think it's bigger than what everyone realizes, because most of the time those women fly under the radar. They don't want to be known. They don't want you to know that they're pregnant, and they don't want you to know that they're using, because ultimatally, you know, they can be arrested, or they'll have people looking for them when they deliver with those babies, which if they deliver in the hospital setting anyway, you know, there's going to be a report if mom and baby test positive. So
right, which is motivation to not go to the hospital unless it's absolutely an emergency, and that could be even a more bigger problem. Right?
Yeah.
Wow. So what would it take to have a facility like that here in Calhoun County?
You have to meet the standards for the ADMH, Alabama Department of Mental Health. So they have some standards and some things you have to do to go through them to get certified to be one of those programs here in Alabama.
What do those programs look like?
They are, let's see, what's the best way to say it? It's like being almost in a school for recovery. You're required to do, you get an assessment and they put you on the level, and then you're required to do X amount of hours in your recovery daily, weekly. They monitor you for progress, and then they drop your level based on the progress you're making in your recovery. You can't just go through and kind of, like most people say, skate through and coast through and just be there, oh, I've been here 6 months, I can leave. No, they really monitor your progress and see if you're actually taking in what they're giving you and then putting back out the information, like really growing and showing the difference in your behavior.
So these are kind of specialty rehabs designed for women who are either pregnant or just giving birth, kind of thing. And they are licensed and certified by the Department of Mental Health, which is unlike a lot of the rehabs we have running around here that are not licensed.
Right.
They're under
Faith-based.
faith-based,
Like
yeah.
that, a lot of them.
And so they don't have to meet those standards, but this program meets those standards.
And they meet the standards specifically so that women can have their babies there. We really want these mothers to have the opportunity to be able to take care of their children, because newborns, those first couple of weeks, hours, months, days are the most important in bonding. And if we're just going to remove children based on the fact that the mom used and not give her an opportunity to go somewhere where she can be, monitored, there's supervision, there's all types of red tape that has to be crossed in order for these places to maintain their license.
Because I think, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but substance abuse or substance misuse, it isn't something somebody just goes, yeah, I'm going to get hooked on heroin now and be addicted the rest of my life. That's what I want to do.
Man.
It's something that they start using, and then all of a sudden they are addicted and wish they couldn't be. I don't know. I haven't met an addict that says, boy, this is the lifestyle I want.
Right.
So these women want to change. They just need the right environment and the opportunity.
That's correct. And it's funny you said that, because I was actually having a conversation with someone last night, and the way they put it, everybody has some type of underlying addiction. Whether that's ever triggered, who knows? But if it is triggered and you already have those underlying factors in your life, you don't choose that. Who wakes up one day and says, I want to be on crack? Who wakes up one day and says, I want to use drugs during my pregnancy? Once that thing is triggered in your brain, it's hard to turn it off. It's like you have to be completely rewired.
Yeah, and how much of this do you think, either one of you, we've got women that are pregnant and using drugs, and then we've got women that are being trafficked. And women that are being trafficked and thrown into the sex trade can get pregnant. So where is that crossover? How do we know how many women you're seeing that are addicted and pregnant that have come out of the trafficking world?
I actually don't know.
Because that's we arrest prostitutes, and really it's the same thing. No girl wakes up one morning and goes, that's the career choice I'm making. Usually it's drugs or threats that get them involved in that, and yet we put them in jail and they're charged. And there's some nonprofits throughout Alabama working with that. So you guys would dovetail nicely with that if they've got women in there that are pregnant. So this is great. So tell us about this event that's coming up Saturday.
So Saturday at 11 a.m. we will have what's called Motivating Our Moms. And so this is to bring awareness to the community about this program that is available. It's for any mom who might be experiencing some substance misuse issues, anyone who's connected to a mom, or someone's pregnant that might be having substance misuse. So anybody who wants to know about what the program has to offer, you're welcome to come. We're going to be serving brunch. There'll be some door prizes, and then we have a big raffle. We're going to be giving away a car seat stroller combination.
Nice. So that's this Saturday in the morning and early afternoon. And people just show up, right?
Just show up.
Doesn't cost you anything. Just walk in the door at the
Just
outfit.
come on in. Feel free.
Fantastic. And if somebody is watching and wants to call ASAP and say, hey, I'm having a problem, who do they call and how do they do that?
They can reach me. They can either call the office at 256-831-4436, or you can reach me on my work cell phone, which is 256-600-8625.
LaTasha, it's always great to have you on the show. Thank you so much. And we're going to be right back with the Crime Stoppers portion and the crazy criminal here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. And welcome to the Crime Stoppers portion of our show, where we ask your help on the following cases. First up, between March 4th and September 4th of last year and this year, both of this year, a residence and storage shed were broken into on Airport Road in Anniston. A gas water heater, a Cub Cadet riding mower, a red Craftsman 5-drawer toolbox, an orange Husqvarna push mower, and a Craftsman 3000 Max pressure washer, and a brown cuckoo clock were all taken from that location. And on August 27th, Oxford Waterworks was broken into. The suspects stole 2 steel concrete saws and numerous brass pipe and fittings. And that's it for our Crime Stoppers cases. If you have any information on these, please call Crime Stoppers. That number 1-833-251-7867.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
Joey, it's crazy criminal time.
Sure is.
Tell us all about it.
Well, this gentleman that you see on your screen here, he's up in Washington County, Oregon, I believe is where it was.
The Northwest.
The Northwest. So he decides he's going to go into a gun store and rob the gun store with a baseball bat. So,
fascinating.
Yeah, so it didn't really go his way when you go into a gun store, you know. And I think he might have had a knife too, so you've heard those say don't bring a knife to a gunfight, you know, so he brings a knife and a baseball bat. And I believe he broke one of the glasses, you know, the counters, broke one of the glass counters and gets a gun. You know, gun stores don't typically keep those guns loaded
right.
that are in the case, you know. So he gets an unloaded gun. He's got a baseball bat and a knife, and the gun store owner, obviously, he was armed. So,
you think?
Yeah, so he ends up taking directions from the gun store owner. Get down on the ground, and we're going to call the sheriff, and the sheriff's going to come and arrest you. So that's
Didn't
that's
work out the way he planned.
No, so he was trying to arm himself, I guess, so he could be a better criminal, you know, or more effective criminal. So, but it didn't work out for him. So.
Maybe he played baseball in high school and
Yeah.
he was comfortable with a bat.
Possibly. I don't know.
Possibly. Don't bring a bat or a knife to a gunfight.
That's right.
Fascinating. So you guys are still hiring, right?
Yes, we are.
Okay, so if someone's interested in being a, what are you calling them now? A
Well,
change maker? Change? What do you?
I call him a deputy sheriff.
Deputy sheriff. Okay. Somebody wants to make a difference maker. That's what the
difference
commercial
maker.
says.
Yeah, but you know they wear many hats. So, but yeah, we're hiring. We're always hiring. You know, we're not always, but we're still hiring deputies. We still have some dispatch slots open and some correction slots open. And you can go to our app and you can fill out an application there, or go to the Civil Service Board at the administration building and fill out an application there.
And you know, a lot of people who think about law enforcement, they want to go into law enforcement. It's usually a dream or a family history. But dispatch and corrections are really important.
Very important.
And-
I mean, those are vital functions of the sheriff's office.
Absolutely, and dispatch particularly. If you're not kind of feel like you want to be in the shape to go on the street and carry a gun and wear all that pounds of gear, or go in the jail and have to work with inmates, dispatching is a way to serve the community.
Another option. It really is. And a lot of our dispatchers, they really love it. Like, you know, they feel like it's kind of a call into them.
Well, it is, and it's an exciting place to be.
Yeah, you don't never do the same thing, you know, every day. So.
All right. Well, thank you, Joey, and thank you all for tuning in. We're going to see you again next week, but hopefully not in the lineup here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.